The deep space explorer Aaron Kane had spent most of his life staring at the stars. Every mission he took was a journey into the unknown, a challenge to human courage and curiosity. But nothing in his career had prepared him for the strange signal that led him to Zephyria. The signal was faint, almost like a whisper through the void, but it carried a peculiar rhythm, one that seemed almost alive. Aaron's ship, the Stellar Hawk, hummed quietly as he navigated through the thick nebula surrounding the signal's origin. The sensors flickered, and a sudden surge of energy jolted the ship. Warning lights flashed red across the cockpit. Aaron gripped the controls tightly, trying to steady the vessel. A strange gravitational pull yanked the ship toward an unseen object. The ship shook violently as the engines roared, sparks flying across the control panel. Then, with a deafening crash, the Stellar Hawk plummeted through the atmosphere of a strange, green-blue planet. Trees with luminous leaves stretched high into the sky, and mist rolled over glowing rivers that wound like silver ribbons across the land. Aaron's heart raced as the ship skidded across the forest floor before finally coming to a halt. Smoke and sparks hissed from the damaged engine, and Aaron knew he had survived, just barely. Stepping outside, he felt the alien air wash over him. It smelled faintly sweet, like flowers mixed with rain. The sky was a swirl of purples and golds unlike anything he had seen before. Floating orbs of light hovered above the ground, illuminating the thick underbrush. Every sound, from the distant roar of creatures to the gentle hum of alien insects, was a reminder that he had arrived somewhere utterly new. As he assessed the ship, a sudden rustle in the bushes made him freeze. His hand went to his blaster instinctively. From behind a cluster of glowing vines, a figure stepped into view. She was taller than a human, slender, with eyes that shimmered like liquid silver. Her hair floated slightly as if defying gravity, and her garments glimmered in the strange light of the forest. She held a small staff not as a weapon but as a symbol of authority. Aaron blinked. "Hello, I come in peace," he said, carefully raising his hands. The figure's eyes widened in surprise. She took a step back, then another, her staff raised slightly. "Who are you?" she asked in a melodious voice, each word ringing with authority. "How did you reach Zephyria?" "I'm Aaron Kane, a human explorer," he explained. "I followed a signal that I think it came from this planet. My ship crashed. I didn't mean to intrude." The alien's silver eyes narrowed, analyzing him with a mixture of suspicion and curiosity. "You are human. I have heard of your kind. Rare, unpredictable, dangerous. Yet here you stand alive." Aaron gave a small shrug. "Luck or skill? Maybe both." The alien lowered her staff slightly but did not relax. "I am Princess Lyra, heir to Zephyria. You are lucky your arrival coincided with my patrol. You would not have survived long alone in these forests." Aaron's eyes widened. A princess? He had expected danger, but royalty was something else entirely. I'm honored to meet you." Lyra's lips curved slightly, a small smile breaking her stern expression. Honored, perhaps. Surprised, definitely. Before they could speak further, a low growl echoed through the trees. A creature sleek and black with glowing red eyes lunged from the shadows. Aaron reacted instantly, firing a stun shot. The creature yelped and backed away but did not flee. It circled them, its gaze fixed, measuring, dangerous. Lyra raised her staff and whispered words that made the air shimmer. A shield of light formed around them, momentarily repelling the predator. Aaron stared in awe. "That's incredible," he muttered. "It is not magic," Lyra said sharply. "It is Zephyrian technology, born from knowledge and harmony with nature." She gestured to Aaron. "Stay close. Do not try to fight it directly. It will take both strength and strategy." Together they lured the creature toward a narrow gorge. Using his agility and quick thinking, Aaron created a diversion while Lyra used her staff to channel the energy of the forest. The creature shrieked and finally retreated, vanishing into the mist. Breathing heavily, Aaron looked at Lyra. "That was amazing. You saved us both." Lyra's expression softened slightly. "Perhaps, but you acted bravely as well. Many would have fled or frozen in fear." Aaron smiled, feeling a strange warmth of pride. "I guess we make a good team then?" Lyra tilted her head, considering him. "Perhaps. Unlikely as it seems, yes. You have courage, human, but also heart. That is rare." For a moment the two stood in silence, listening to the alien forest. Strange birds with translucent wings called from the treetops, and the soft glow of the rivers reflected in their eyes. Aaron could not help but feel a sense of wonder and respect for this place, and for the princess who ruled it. Lyra's gaze shifted to the horizon, where the ruins of an ancient Zephyrian city could be seen. "You will need shelter," she said, "and you will need to explain your presence to my people. They do not welcome strangers lightly." Aaron nodded. "I understand, I want to survive first." Lyra chuckled softly, a sound like silver bells. "Then you shall survive. But survival alone is not enough here. You must learn, adapt, and perhaps in time you will understand Zephyria as I do." She gestured for him to follow, and Aaron did. As they walked through glowing forests and over streams that shimmered in colors he had no names for, Aaron felt a strange connection forming, not just to the planet, but to Lyra herself. She was not just a ruler or a princess. She was a force of her world, embodying both wisdom and courage. Along the way, Lyra explained small things about her planet, how the floating orbs provided light and energy, how the forest communicated in subtle vibrations, and how the rivers carried messages through bioluminescent patterns. Aaron listened with fascination. Each new fact made him respect Zephyria more, and each moment spent with Lyra made him appreciate her even more. Eventually, they reached a clearing where a small Zephyrian patrol had gathered. The soldiers froze when they saw Aaron but quickly relaxed when Lyra approached. She introduced him formally, explaining his arrival and his good intentions. The soldiers, trained to trust their princess's judgment, accepted him cautiously. Aaron looked around at the soldiers, the forest, and Lyra, feeling both awe and a strange sense of belonging. This is incredible," he said quietly. Lyra glanced at him, her silver eyes reflecting a mixture of surprise and curiosity. "You're different, human. Most would be overwhelmed. You endure. Perhaps that is why I find you interesting," Aaron chuckled nervously. "I try my best." Lyra's lips curved into a small, approving smile. "We shall see how long that best lasts. Zephyria is not kind to the weak or the unprepared, but I sense potential in you that is unusual." The sun of Zephyria began to set, casting long shadows over the glowing landscape. Aaron and Lyra sat by a small stream, letting the events of the day settle in. For Aaron, it had been a day of terror, awe, and wonder. For Lyra, it had been a day of surprise, at the human's bravery, his determination, and the spark of curiosity that mirrored her own. In that quiet moment, neither spoke much. Words were not needed. The forest hummed around them. The rivers shimmered, and the floating lights drifted like stars brought down from the sky. Aaron knew that his life had changed forever. He had crash-landed on an alien world, met a princess, and survived a day that could have ended in disaster. Lyra, meanwhile, wondered how someone so unlike her people could survive and even thrive in Zephyria. There was something about Aaron that unsettled her, not in danger but in possibility. Perhaps humans were not as simple as her history had claimed. Perhaps this human could become more than a visitor. As night fell and the forest glowed in its eerie, beautiful light, both of them felt the unspoken truth. The meeting of two worlds had begun, and neither of them would ever be the same again. The next morning, Zephyria revealed itself in all its wonder. The forest seemed even more alive in daylight, with sunlight filtering through enormous, shimmering leaves. Rivers glowed faintly as their waters flowed over stones that seemed to pulse with energy. Strange birds with translucent wings darted from tree to tree, and soft musical hums drifted through the air. Aaron Kane had never seen anything like it, and he could hardly contain his amazement. Princess Lyra walked beside him, moving gracefully over the uneven forest floor. Her every step seemed to touch the earth lightly, as if she was part of it. She had a serene confidence that made the world around her seem calm, even though the planet was full of unseen dangers. "You must understand, human," Lyra began, her voice melodic but firm. "Zephyria is not like your world. Here everything is connected. The plants, the rivers, even the air, it all has a life of its own. Respect it and it will aid you. Ignore it and it can turn against you." Aaron nodded, keeping his eyes wide, absorbing every detail. "I'll try my best," he said. "Everything here, it's beautiful. I've never imagined anything like this before." Lyra allowed a small smile. "Beauty alone is not enough to survive. You must learn to read the signs. Listen to the forest, feel it. Only then will you understand Zephyria. As they walked, Lyra pointed out the ways Zephyrians interacted with their world. Trees bent slightly when she approached, as if bowing. Streams changed their flow subtly, creating paths that guided their steps. Even the floating light orbs responded to her presence, gliding around her like loyal companions. Aaron watched in fascination. He had spent years exploring unknown planets, but nothing had prepared him for a place so alive. Suddenly, Lyra stopped near a wide river that shimmered like liquid crystal. She knelt beside it, placing her hand on the surface. The water pulsed, sending soft ripples that reflected the morning sun in dazzling colors. The river carries messages, she explained. Not words, but emotions, intentions, truths. Watch carefully. Aaron crouched beside her, touching the water gently. He felt a strange warmth spread through his hand, as if the river acknowledged him. It's incredible, he whispered. I can feel something. I don't know how to explain it. Lyra's silver eyes softened. You have the gift of perception. Humans rarely notice these things. Most see only what is visible, but you are more attentive than I expected. For the first time, Aaron felt a connection to Zephyria that went beyond curiosity. It was as if the planet itself was acknowledging him, welcoming him despite his human origins. Their journey continued toward the city, which floated above the forest like a jewel suspended in air. The Zephyrian structures were made of a translucent material that shimmered with all the colors of the spectrum. Bridges of light connected towers and gardens floated in midair, defying gravity. Citizens moved gracefully along these paths, their clothing and technology blending seamlessly with the natural energy of the city. Lyra introduced Aaron to the city's wonders. Our technology is born from understanding life, not from dominating it, she explained. Every structure, every tool, every invention is designed to work with Zephyria, not against it. Aaron's eyes widened as he observed a group of children playing. They interacted with small orbs that floated around them, which responded to their laughter and movements. He realized that Zephyrians had learned to merge joy, learning, and energy in a way that humans had never achieved. As they walked further, Aaron noticed citizens staring at him. Some whispered in Zephyrian, while others observed him cautiously. Lyra noticed his unease. Do not worry, she said. They are curious. Outsiders are rare, but they will judge you by your actions, not your appearance. Show them respect, courage, and honesty, and they will respect you in return. Aaron nodded, feeling both nervous and determined. I'll do my best, he said. I want to understand your world and earn your people's trust. Lyra glanced at him, a flicker of admiration in her eyes. You have the heart of a true explorer, Aaron. Few humans would survive here, let alone seek to understand. Their path led them to a training ground where young Zephyrians practiced the art of harmony with their world. Some controlled energy fields with delicate movements of their hands. Others communicated silently with animals and plants. Aaron watched, amazed by their skill. Lyra turned to him. You will train as well, not as a Zephyrian, but as someone who wishes to understand and respect this planet. The forest will challenge you, and so will the people, but through this you will grow. Aaron grinned. I never thought I'd be training with a princess, but I'm ready. The training began with simple tasks. Aaron learned to balance his energy with the forest, to feel the vibrations of plants and trees, and to sense the movement of creatures before they appeared. It was exhausting work, but also exhilarating. Lyra guided him patiently, correcting his mistakes and encouraging him when he succeeded. One afternoon, a sudden storm swept across the city. Winds twisted through the floating towers and rain fell like liquid crystal. Aaron panicked as debris flew around, but Lyra remained calm. She guided him through the chaos, using her staff to create protective shields and steadying him with her presence. You see, she said as the storm subsided, fear is natural, but it must not control you. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the strength to act despite it. Aaron nodded, feeling a newfound respect for Lyra. I understand now. You're amazing. Lyra's eyes reflected a faint glow. Perhaps. But you are learning quickly. That is also impressive. As days passed, Aaron and Lyra explored Zephyria together. They climbed floating cliffs, navigated glowing forests, and even observed ancient ruins that told the story of the planet's history. In each adventure, they learned from each other. Aaron shared human ingenuity, improvising solutions to obstacles. Lyra shared wisdom and insight, teaching him patience, observation, and harmony. One evening, as they rested by a waterfall that cascaded into a luminescent lake, Lyra spoke softly. "Aaron, most humans I have heard of would have left long ago, afraid or overwhelmed. Yet you remain. You adapt, you learn, and you care." Aaron looked at her, feeling a warmth in his chest he could not explain. "I didn't come here to leave anything behind. I came because I wanted to see, to understand, to connect, and I never expected to meet someone like you." Lyra's gaze softened. "You are different, rare. Perhaps that is why I find your presence intriguing." Aaron chuckled, a little embarrassed. "I never thought a princess would say that about a human." Lyra's lips curved into a small smile. "Perhaps humans are more interesting than I was led to believe. Perhaps some of you carry qualities even we admire." As the sun set, painting the sky in shades of violet and gold, Aaron and Lyra sat side by side, watching the rivers glow and the forest shimmer. Both felt a connection growing, one of respect, trust, and curiosity. Neither spoke, yet the silence was comfortable, filled with unspoken understanding. For Aaron, Zephyria had become more than a mission or an exploration. It was a world full of wonder, challenge, and unexpected friendship. For Lyra, the human before her was no longer just an outsider. He was someone who saw her world without fear, with genuine curiosity and courage. By nightfall, Aaron reflected on the day's lessons. He had faced fear, learned patience, and discovered beauty beyond imagination. But more importantly, he had begun to understand Lyra, not just as a princess or a ruler, but as a being whose strength and wisdom shaped the world around her. Lyra, in turn, considered Aaron's presence. His bravery, adaptability, and willingness to learn made her reconsider everything she had thought about humans. Perhaps they were not merely unpredictable. Perhaps they could be allies, companions, even something more. As the stars appeared in Zephyria's unusual sky, twinkling brighter than any Aaron had ever seen, both of them knew that the bond forming between them was unusual, significant, and not to be ignored. The adventure of learning, trust, and discovery had only just begun, and neither Aaron nor Lyra could have imagined where it would take them, or how it would change the course of their lives and the future of Zephyria itself. The morning air on Zephyria was crisp, carrying the faint scent of glowing flowers. Aaron Kane woke to the gentle hum of the forest, a sound he had grown to recognize as the heartbeat of the planet itself. Beside him, Princess Lyra stretched gracefully, her silver eyes reflecting the rising sun. Today would be different. Aaron could feel it, a tension in the air that went beyond the ordinary challenges of Zephyria. Lyra had been monitoring unusual activity at the edge of the forest. Reports of strange figures moving in the shadows suggested that Zephyria's peace was under threat. A rival faction from a neighboring system, jealous of Zephyria's prosperity, had learned of the human visitor and might see him as a weakness or a weapon. "Aaron," Lyra said, her voice calm but serious, "today you will see why survival is not enough. Courage alone will not protect you. You must trust in your instincts and in me." Aaron nodded. "I trust you," he said, though his mind raced with questions. He had survived storms, predators, and strange terrain, but the thought of facing intelligent enemies was something new and frightening. Lyra led him through dense forests toward the perimeter of the city. Their path was carefully chosen, weaving between floating cliffs and rivers that glowed faintly in the morning light. Every step was deliberate. The forest seemed to respond to Lyra's presence, parting slightly to give them passage, yet the shadows remained heavy, as if hiding secrets. Suddenly, a soft, metallic whisper came from above. Aaron's hand went to his blaster, though he knew Zephyrian technology was usually superior to human weapons. From the trees, mechanical scouts, small, sleek drones, spotted them. Lyra's staff glowed instantly, releasing a pulse of energy that disabled the drones. "They are testing us," Lyra said quietly. "The faction wants to know our strength. We must move carefully." Aaron followed, feeling both nervous and exhilarated. Every new challenge forced him to rely not only on his skills but on the trust he had in Lyra. It was a bond forming in the heat of danger, a connection neither of them could ignore. As they approached a narrow canyon, Lyra paused. "We cannot take the main roads. They are likely monitored. The canyon will give us cover. but it will also test your agility and focus." Aaron nodded. His muscles tensed as they began to move along the canyon's edge. The walls glowed faintly with bioluminescent moss, casting eerie shadows that danced as they climbed. Aaron's heart pounded. Each step required balance and attention. One wrong move and the drop below would be fatal. "Keep your focus," Lyra said. "Feel the canyon, sense its rhythm. Scifi will guide you if you let it." Aaron closed his eyes briefly, letting the planet's subtle vibrations flow through him. He could feel the canyon's energy, steady and strong, and he moved with more confidence. Lyra watched silently, noting his progress, proud of his adaptability. Suddenly, from the shadows, a group of armed Zephyrian imposters, followers of the rival faction, sprang out. They were agile, blending perfectly with the environment, and they attacked with precision. Aaron instinctively fired his blaster, but Lyra's shield deflected the attacks effortlessly. "You must act with me, not against me," Lyra shouted. "Trust in your instincts." Aaron dodged, rolled, and fired again, coordinating his movements with Lyra's protective energy pulses. Together they created an almost perfect defensive and offensive rhythm. The imposters were strong and well-trained, but Aaron and Lyra's combined skill and trust made them unpredictable. One of the attackers lunged at Aaron from behind. Lyra reacted instantly, sending a pulse of energy that knocked him back. Aaron barely caught his footing, staring at Lyra with amazement. "You saved me again!" Lyra's gaze was focused. "You saved yourself too. Courage without trust is reckless. You are learning." The fight continued, more intense than anything Aaron had faced before, but with every move, every pulse of energy, and every coordinated attack, he and Lyra grew closer. They understood each other's timing, anticipated actions, and covered weaknesses. Finally, the last attacker was thrown off balance and incapacitated. The canyon fell silent save for the soft hum of the forest. Aaron's chest heaved, sweat on his forehead, while Lyra's breathing was steady, controlled. "You did well," Lyra said softly, her silver eyes meeting his. "Most humans would have panicked, but you faced the threat without hesitation." Aaron felt a strange warmth in his chest. "I had to. I couldn't let anything happen to you." Lyra's lips curved in a faint smile, though her expression remained composed. "You care, that is unusual for your kind, but it is what makes you strong." As they moved forward, Aaron noticed children and citizens hiding along the cliffs, watching the battle's outcome. Their eyes were filled with awe and respect. For the first time, he realized that his actions had meaning not only for Lyra but for the people of Zephyria. He had become part of their world, not just an observer. They reached a high plateau overlooking the forest. The view was breathtaking. Endless green and blue stretched in all directions, rivers winding like ribbons of light. The city floated in the distance, its towers shimmering in the sunlight. Lyra turned to Aaron. "You have passed the first trial," she said, "but trials will not end here. There will be tests of courage, wisdom, and trust, and not all will be fought with strength alone." Aaron nodded, feeling both exhausted and exhilarated. "I'm ready for whatever comes next. I trust you, Lyra." Lyra's eyes softened, revealing a flicker of emotion she rarely showed. "And I trust you, Aaron. That is why you are here with me, not running, not hiding. You have earned your place by your actions, not by words." As evening approached, they descended toward a hidden grove where the citizens of Zephyria gathered in safety. Fires made of floating crystal illuminated their faces, revealing curiosity, awe, and quiet approval. Lyra introduced Aaron formally to the citizens, explaining how he had assisted her in the battle and shown courage beyond expectation. Aaron felt nervous under their gaze, but stood tall. He realized that he was no longer just a visitor. He had begun to earn the respect of a people who had always been cautious of outsiders. One elder, a tall Zephyrian with skin that shimmered like the night sky, stepped forward. "You have shown bravery, human, but bravery alone does not make a bond. You must understand us, our ways, and our world. Only then can you truly be trusted." Aaron nodded. "I understand. I want to learn. I want to be part of your world if you'll let me." Lyra placed a hand lightly on his shoulder. "And we will teach you. But you must also teach us, human. Show us your ways, your thoughts, your courage. Only through understanding can two worlds unite." The night grew darker, stars shimmering in Zephyria's sky like scattered diamonds. Aaron and Lyra sat near the grove, watching the citizens settle and listening to the soft hum of the forest. Both knew that the day's trial was only the beginning. Aaron reflected on the events, the danger, the fight, and the trust that had been forged in the heat of it. He realized that survival was no longer just about skill or luck. It was about partnership, courage, and understanding. Lyra had not only protected him but also taught him to trust, to act decisively, and to respect the world around him. Lyra, in turn, considered Aaron's presence. His bravery was matched by thoughtfulness, his actions by a genuine desire to connect. She had expected humans to be reckless and short-sighted. Yet here was one who adapted, who respected Zephyria, and who had proven his loyalty in the face of danger. In the quiet of the night, both understood that something deeper was forming, a connection that went beyond mission, duty, or curiosity. Trust had been tested and found strong. Courage had been shown and respect had been earned. For Aaron, Zephyria was no longer just a strange, beautiful planet. It was a world that challenged him, taught him, and welcomed him into its mysteries. And for Lyra, Aaron was no longer just a human visitor. He was a companion, a partner in trials, and perhaps someone who could change not only her life but the future of Zephyria itself. As they prepared to rest, the forest around them glowed softly, as if acknowledging their success and their growing bond. Both felt a sense of anticipation, knowing that greater challenges awaited, but confident that together they could face anything. The morning sun bathed Zephyria in soft gold and violet hues, casting long shadows across the floating city. Princess Lyra stood atop the highest balcony of her palace, gazing at the horizon where rivers of light twisted through forests and mountains. The events of recent days weighed heavily on her mind. The human Aaron Kane had proven his courage, wisdom, and loyalty, yet her advisors continued to pressure her to accept the politically advantageous match with an alien prince from a neighboring system. Lyra's heart, however, had grown restless. Every thought of Aaron, his bravery in the canyon, his curiosity about her world, his honesty and respect, made her question the rules that had been laid before her since birth. She had always known duty, tradition, and alliances were crucial for her people. But she had also discovered something unexpected: genuine trust and connection, born not from politics but from action and courage. Aaron approached the balcony quietly, his presence familiar and comforting. "Lyra," he said softly, "you've been up here for hours." "Thinking?" Lyra turned to him, her silver eyes reflecting both determination and uncertainty. "Always. There is much to consider. My advisors insist on a union with the prince. They say it will strengthen Zephyria's position in the galaxy. But my heart, my mind, they tell me something else." Aaron took a cautious step closer. "And what is your heart telling you?" Lyra hesitated, then spoke with quiet strength. "It tells me that I must choose what is right for Zephyria, yes, but also for myself. I cannot marry for alliance alone. I must choose someone whose courage, integrity, and spirit I respect. Someone who has proven themselves not through titles or wealth, but through actions." Aaron's chest tightened. He had come to Zephyria as a visitor, a mere explorer, yet the thought that Lyra might consider him in such a way filled him with both awe and disbelief. "You mean me?" he asked carefully, not wanting to misread her words. Lyra met his gaze directly, her eyes steady. "Yes, Aaron. You have shown qualities that no prince, no advisor, no diplomat could teach me. You act with courage and honor. You respect this world, its people, and me. That is why I choose you, not out of duty, but out of conviction." Aaron's surprise was evident, but so was the warmth in his eyes. "Lyra, I don't know what to say. I never expected this." Lyra stepped closer, her voice softening. "Say nothing yet. Listen instead. You must understand that this choice is not simple. There will be challenges. My advisors may resist. Other factions may see this as a threat. But I will not waver. My decision is made." Aaron reached for her hand, feeling the delicate warmth of her touch. "I will stand by you, Lyra, no matter what comes, together." Her silver eyes glimmered. "Then we must prepare. Zephyria must witness that this union is not a whim, but a partnership based on trust, courage, and respect." The news of Lyra's declaration spread quickly through the palace. Advisors and citizens alike gathered to witness her announcement. Many were skeptical. Some whispered doubts about a human's place beside the princess. Others, those who had seen Aaron's bravery and wisdom firsthand, were quietly supportive. Lyra ascended to the grand hall, the central chamber of the palace where the council waited. Tall pillars glimmered with energy, and floating gardens cast shimmering reflections across the room. All eyes were on her. She stood tall, radiant, and unwavering. "I have made my choice," she began, her voice strong and clear, not for politics, not for convenience, but for the future of Zephyria. "I choose Aaron Kane as my life partner." A hush fell over the hall. Whispers echoed among the council members, some questioning, others curious. "A human?" one elder asked cautiously. "He is not of our kind."
"How can he understand Zephyria?"
Lyra met the elder's gaze firmly. "He has already proven that he can understand, respect, and protect Zephyria. His actions have spoken louder than words ever could. He has faced danger, adapted, and learned. He has earned the trust of this world and of me." Another council member, younger and more impulsive, shook her head. "But tradition, our ancestors, our alliances—" "Tradition is guidance, not a cage," Lyra interrupted. "We honor the past, but we must also honor our hearts and our people. Aaron Kane represents courage, partnership, and hope. These qualities will strengthen Zephyria far more than blind adherence to old arrangements." The room fell silent again. Slowly the council began to nod, some hesitant, some thoughtful. Citizens who had gathered nearby murmured their approval. Aaron stood beside Lyra, feeling a mixture of pride and awe. He had never imagined that his actions, his decisions, could hold such weight. Yet here he was, chosen not because of his species, but because of his character. After the declaration, Lyra led Aaron through the city to prepare for the ceremonial recognition of their union. The preparations were intricate, blending human customs with Zephyrian traditions. Crystalline ornaments floated in midair, casting colorful reflections on the walls. Gardens were decorated with flowers that glowed softly, and rivers of energy carried messages of goodwill throughout the city. Despite the grandeur, Aaron remained grounded. He practiced the rituals, learned the gestures, and observed the protocols, always mindful of showing respect. Lyra guided him patiently, teaching him the meanings behind each symbol and action. One evening, as they rested in the palace gardens overlooking the glowing rivers, Aaron spoke softly. "Lyra, this is overwhelming. Everything here. It's beautiful, but I feel like I have to be perfect." Lyra placed her hand on his. "You do not have to be perfect. You have already shown your courage and respect. That is enough. The rest will come naturally as we walk this path together." Aaron smiled, feeling a sense of calm he had never experienced in his life. "Walking this path, with you, it feels right. Even if the whole galaxy questions it, I know it's right." Lyra's eyes softened, and for a moment the weight of duty and expectation lifted. "Then we shall face whatever comes together. Your presence has reminded me that courage is not just strength and trust is not just loyalty. They are the foundation of hope, and hope will guide us." Days turned into weeks as the preparations continued. Citizens of Zephyria began to accept the union, inspired by the courage both Aaron and Lyra had shown. They saw that this was not a political maneuver, but a partnership rooted in trust and mutual respect. Even skeptics started to admire Aaron's adaptability, determination, and genuine care for Lyra and her world. Lyra's advisors, once doubtful, began to recognize the wisdom in her choice. Aaron's actions had not only earned their respect, but had also strengthened Zephyria's standing in ways politics alone could not. It became clear that the bond between human and princess symbolized more than personal connection. It represented unity, courage, and the possibility of new alliances across the stars. Finally, the day of the ceremonial recognition arrived. Citizens from across Zephyria gathered, their eyes shining with anticipation. The floating towers glimmered under the twin suns, casting reflections that danced like sparks in the air. Music, delicate and harmonious, filled the city, played on instruments that seemed to float in midair. Lyra and Aaron stood before the crowd side by side. Her silver eyes met his, conveying unspoken trust and commitment. Aaron, in turn, felt a deep sense of responsibility and pride. He had faced trials, learned the ways of Zephyria, and earned a place not only in the city but in the life of the princess he had come to respect deeply. Lyra addressed the citizens. "Today we recognize not only a union of hearts but a union of worlds. Through courage, trust, and understanding, we have proven that bonds can transcend differences. Let this partnership be a symbol of hope and unity for Zephyria and beyond." The crowd erupted in cheers and applause, their excitement and approval echoing through the city. Aaron looked at Lyra, feeling a mix of awe and admiration. She had chosen not only her heart but also the future of her people, and he had been trusted to walk beside her. As night fell, the stars of Zephyria shone brighter than ever. Aaron and Lyra stood together, overlooking the glowing rivers and floating gardens. Both felt the weight of responsibility, but also the exhilaration of new beginnings. Together they had faced doubts, danger, and tradition, and emerged stronger. Lyra whispered, her voice gentle but firm, "Whatever comes next, we face it together. Our bond is no longer just personal. It is a promise to our people and to each other." Aaron nodded, holding her hand. "Together," he repeated. "No matter what challenges lie ahead, I will stand by you." The night air shimmered around them, as if the planet itself recognized their courage and the trust they had built. Zephyria had witnessed a choice born of bravery, honesty, and love, a choice that would echo across the stars. And in that moment, both human and princess knew that their journey was only beginning. The morning of the ceremonial union dawned bright and clear on Zephyria. Twin suns cast warm golden light across the floating city, making the crystal towers shimmer like jewels. Citizens from across the planet gathered in the central plaza, their eyes filled with curiosity, excitement, and hope. For them, today was more than a personal celebration. It was a symbol of courage, trust, and the possibility of unity between humans and Zephyrians. Aaron Kane stood beside Princess Lyra, taking a deep breath. He felt a mixture of nervousness and pride. Every step he had taken, from his crash landing to surviving the forest, navigating Zephyrian culture and facing danger alongside Lyra, had led to this moment. He glanced at her and she gave him a reassuring smile, her silver eyes glowing softly in the morning light. Lyra's advisors and council members, once skeptical of the human visitor, now watched with quiet approval. They had witnessed Aaron's courage, respect for Zephyria, and unwavering support for their princess. Slowly, even the most doubtful citizens began to accept that this union was not a whim or political trick, but a genuine partnership built on shared values and mutual respect. The ceremony began in the Grand Plaza, where floating platforms formed a path above the glowing river. Music, delicate and ethereal, filled the air, harmonizing with the hum of Zephyria itself. Flowers with luminescent petals floated through the plaza, carried by gentle breezes that seemed to respond to the planet's energy. Lyra and Aaron walked side by side along the path, their hands brushing occasionally, a silent reassurance passing between them. Citizens and council members lined the edges, watching with a mixture of awe and admiration. Aaron's heart pounded, not from fear but from the realization that he had become part of a world he had only just begun to understand. The first part of the ceremony was a symbolic trial, designed to demonstrate courage, trust, and harmony with Zephyria. Participants had to navigate a series of challenges that tested their connection to the planet and to each other. For Aaron and Lyra, it was a final test of everything they had learned together. The first challenge was a bridge of energy, suspended over a glowing chasm. It required perfect balance, focus, and trust in the energy of the planet. Lyra led the way, her steps graceful and sure. Aaron followed, concentrating on the vibrations beneath his feet, feeling Zephyria guide him. Halfway across, the energy wavered and Aaron stumbled. Lyra reached out instantly, her hand steadying him. "You trust me," she whispered. "I trust you," he replied. Together, they moved forward, each step strengthening the bond between them. The bridge shimmered brighter as they reached the end, a sign that the trial had been passed successfully. Next came a challenge that tested their unity. Floating orbs of energy appeared around them, responding only to synchronized movement and intention. Lyra and Aaron had to guide the orbs into specific positions using coordinated gestures and mutual focus. At first, the orbs ignored them, spinning and drifting unpredictably. "Focus on the rhythm," Lyra instructed. Together, one mind, one heart. Aaron nodded and they began to move in harmony. Step by step, wave by wave, the orbs followed their intention. Slowly, the chaotic lights aligned, forming a radiant pattern above the plaza. The crowd erupted in cheers, recognizing the perfect harmony between the human and the princess. The final trial was the most personal, a test of courage and protection. A holographic predator appeared, simulating a threat to the citizens. Aaron and Lyra had to face it together, combining strategy, trust, and quick action. The predator lunged with speed and power, and Aaron instinctively raised his shield, while Lyra used her staff to channel energy and control the environment. They moved as one, anticipating each other's actions. Aaron dodged, struck, and protected, while Lyra's energy pulses guided and reinforced their defense. In a final coordinated effort, they subdued the holographic predator, symbolizing their ability to face danger together. The plaza erupted with applause. The citizens and council members understood what they had witnessed, a partnership built on courage, trust, and harmony. Aaron and Lyra had proven that two very different beings could unite not just in heart, but in action. Following the trials, the formal recognition took place. Lyra spoke to the gathered citizens, her voice calm and powerful. Today we witness not only the union of hearts, but the union of worlds. Aaron Kane has proven himself through courage, wisdom, and respect for Zephyria. Our partnership is a symbol that trust, understanding, and bravery can bridge differences, creating unity beyond what we have known. Aaron stepped forward, taking her hand. I have come from another world, uncertain and untested. Yet Zephyria has taught me lessons I could never have learned alone. I promise to stand with you, Lyra, in courage, in trust, and in respect, for our people and for our worlds. The crowd cheered louder than ever, voices echoing across the floating city. Citizens from distant lands who had traveled to witness the union celebrated not only love but hope, courage, and the promise of harmony between worlds. After the formal recognition, the celebrations continued throughout Zephyria. Floating gardens glimmered with colors that shifted with music, rivers reflected the light of the twin suns, and citizens danced, sang, and shared stories of courage and unity. Aaron and Lyra moved through the crowd, greeting people, accepting congratulations, and learning from those who had once been skeptical. In the quiet moments away from the festivities, Aaron and Lyra stood together by a glowing river, reflecting on the journey that had brought them here. I never imagined this, Aaron said softly, watching the light ripple across the water. From a crash landing to all of this. It feels unreal. Lyra smiled, her hand resting lightly on his arm. It was never meant to be simple, but you have faced every challenge with courage and trust. That is why you are here beside me, and why Zephyria embraces our partnership. Aaron looked at her, awe and admiration filling his heart. Lyra, thank you. Not just for choosing me, but for trusting me. I promise to stand by you in all things always. Lyra's silver eyes reflected warmth and certainty. And I will stand by you, Aaron. Together we will protect Zephyria, nurture its people, and explore what lies beyond the stars. Our bond is not just for today, but for all the days to come. As the night sky filled with stars brighter than any Aaron had ever seen, they stood hand in hand, gazing at the vast universe beyond Zephyria. The floating orbs of light above shimmered like tiny suns, casting soft illumination on the city. The citizens watched in quiet admiration, understanding that this union was more than symbolic. It represented courage, trust, and the power of two beings working together to create something greater than themselves. Zephyria itself seemed to acknowledge the union, its rivers glowing brighter, its forests humming more harmoniously, and its floating cities shining with renewed energy. In the days that followed, Aaron and Lyra began to plan the future. They explored new ways to integrate human ingenuity with Zephyrian wisdom, sharing ideas, technology, and philosophy. Their partnership inspired others to reach beyond tradition, to embrace courage and understanding, and to value trust and respect above all else. The once skeptical advisors became allies, impressed by the humans' integrity and the strength of the princess's choice. Citizens celebrated the union in their own ways, sharing stories of bravery and hope with their families. Zephyria's place in the galaxy was now strengthened, not through politics alone, but through courage, partnership, and unity. One evening, as Aaron and Lyra watched the twin suns set over the glowing rivers, Lyra spoke softly. Our journey is only beginning, Aaron. The galaxy holds challenges, mysteries, and wonders we have yet to discover. But we face it together, not as separate beings, but as partners in heart, mind, and action. Aaron squeezed her hand gently, and together we will face anything. I've learned that courage is not just facing danger, but facing it with trust, wisdom, and someone you can rely on. Lyra's smile shone like the morning sun. Then let us begin the next chapter, not just for ourselves, but for all who will follow. Let our unity be a light for the stars. As they stood together, hand in hand, the citizens of Zephyria, both near and far, felt a sense of hope and possibility. Two very different worlds had come together through courage, trust, and understanding. Aaron and Lyra's bond was more than personal. It was a symbol of what could be achieved when beings worked together across boundaries, species, and worlds. The floating city shimmered in the night, rivers of light reflecting the stars above. Zephyria's forests hummed softly, and the gentle glow of flowers and energy orbs bathed the city in a peaceful radiance. It was a new beginning, a world strengthened by courage, respect, and unity. And as Aaron and Lyra looked toward the vast expanse of space hand in hand, they knew that their story had only just begun. The galaxy beyond held infinite possibilities, but together, they were ready for anything.